In this video 5.5, we're going to be looking at percent of change. By the end of the video and work time in class, you should be able to say, I can find percent of change. Percent of change for a formula that we're going to be using, P for percent of change is the amount of change divided by, so the green line there means divided by the original amount. So this is the formula you will be using in figuring out a percent of change. Now, when we are changing something, we can have a change that's increasing, or we can have a change that is decreasing. So you can have a percent of increase or a percent of decrease. 10 years ago, Max's comic book was worth $2.50. Now it is worth $13. Find the percent of increase in value. So we're going to find that percent by P using P equals. Now remember, on the top is the amount of change. When you're looking for the amount of change, we see the two values, what it was, what it is now. We're going to put the greater of those two values first and subtract the smaller one. So it's going to be $13 minus $2.50. And then we're going to divide that change by the original amount. That comic book was originally $2.50. So when we look at what that change is, 13 minus 250 gives you 1050. Divide that by the 2.5. When you do 10.5 divided by 2.5, you get 4.2. And we're looking for this as a percentage. So we're going to change 4.2 into a percent by multiplying by 100 or moving the decimal 2 to the right. So then we have 420%. Because if you would sell it for 100% of what it is, it'd be $250. For 200% you would double. 300% you would triple. And this is definitely well over tripling. It's 420% more of what it was. So it's an increase, 420%. Andre changed the height of his basketball hoop from 8 feet 4 inches to 9 feet 2 inches. Find the percent of increase. So here's another increase. He's increasing the height of his hoop. So for the percent of change, on the top we find the amount of change. We always put the larger of the two first. So we have 9 feet 2 inches, and we're going to subtract 8 feet 4 inches. And then we divide it by the original amount, and the original amount here would be 8 feet 4 inches, which is what the hoop was at. Before we subtract in the top and then do the division, what we have to do here is we have to convert everything into just inches. We know 1 foot is 12 inches. So I'm going to change 9 feet 2 inches, do 9 times 12, and then add the 2 inches to that. You would get a total of 110 inches minus, now we're going to change 8 feet 4 inches and just convert it all to inches. 8 feet, we would do 8 times 12 and then add the 4 inches to that to have just inches. We're left with 100 inches when we convert that. And then obviously that original amount is the same as what we just found. That's the 100 inches. We should put decimals on all those. There we go. So the change here on the top is 10 inches. The original amount was 100 inches. I know when I reduce, that's 1/10 or 0.1. As a percentage, that would be 10%. So it was a 10% increase. In 1980, the population of a city was 557,927. Then in 1990, 10 years later, the population was decreased to the number 496,938. So here we're going to find a percent of decrease. We're going to round our answer to the nearest tenth of a percentage. So P, that percent of change, is the amount of change. Now when we're finding the amount of change here, we're going to take the greater value, which is 557,927, subtract the smaller value of 496,938, and divide it by the original. Now here, unlike the other two problems we just did, the original is actually the greater of the two because remember it's a decrease. So it originally, 10 years ago, or obviously more than that, but in 1980, the original, it was 557,927 people. So find the difference, or that change on the top. When you do your subtraction, you get 60,989. And then what we have to do is take that and divide it by our original population of this town, or city. And we end up with 0.1093. If I move this decimal 2 to the right to get a percentage, and I'm rounding to, it said the nearest tenth, the 9 here, I would round the 9 down because of the 3. So we're at 10.9% of a decrease in this city's population. Can you say I can find percent of change? Here is your output to work out in your notebook before class and be prepared with any questions for the work time tomorrow in class.